XTC, Fossil Fuel, the singles 1977 to 92. When punk rock first hit, a lot of youngish acts altered what they had been doing on the pub rock circuit to fit in with the new fashion. The songs were stripped down and speeded up, and the flares swapped for straight jeans. I was aware of XTC when they first hit the scene, and I saw them supporting at Friars in Aylesbury. I suspected they were clever prog types chancing it. They had a singer that sounded a bit like David Byrne, and they had a certain Talking Heads choppy quality which I suspected had been dumbed down. I was familiar with their single Statue of Liberty. I was convinced it was clever people trying to hold themselves back in order to perform a three-chord trick. However, in retrospect, what I was witnessing were post-punk power pop pioneers. When I tired of minimalism, I fell in love with their jagged complexity. The early tracks on this album bring a big grin to my usually sullen countenance. As they progress, we get Life Begins at the Hop, and then they were a chart band with Making Plans for Nigel, Sergeant Rock and other witty ditties. I now think it is a shame they did not do more with the early lineup, with the chirpy keyboards, but they progressed with two guitars doing very interesting and groundbreaking work. What they were able to do was sneak really clever and challenging music and lyrics into powerful accessible pop songs by combining them with catchy sing-along choruses like the psychedelic acts in the 60s. Their own Strawberry Fields would probably be Senses Working Overtime, which starts with an acoustic passage which even to this day sounds odd. Spooky like the build-up to a jump scene in a horror film. This then becomes the irresistible all join in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 senses working overtime chorus. There is an excellent TV documentary on XTC, and the part where Andy Partridge describes writing senses working overtime is particularly illuminating. Their later material on this double CD is less experimental and more like classic rock. Big production, big tunes with relatable themes, very mature, which is probably why they formed a side project, an alter ego psychedelic rock band called the Dukes of Stratosphere. But that is another story. XTC Fossil Fuel, the singles 77 to 92, which I seem to have got from a charity shop for £2.50.